Hey everybody, it's Dr. Carmen. This is Car Chronicles. Obviously, I'm not in the car. How you guys doing? Good to see you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. I have been off the grid, I guess. Off the grid. But listen. Joe, we did it, Joe. We finally graduated our last one. So my baby girl has graduated, so now she's getting ready to start college. So I'm helping her in the process of starting college. So those of you that know what it's like to graduate, that last one, I have 3 kids. You guys know I have 3 kids. I got a 35-year-old, a 33-year-old, and then my 18 going on 19-year-old is on her way to college. So now I'll have 2 in college. The oldest one has went back to college. So we have been doing a lot of things to prepare her for college. And so thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for the applaud. I'm proud of her. And I'll be coming back. Give me a minute. I still have some traveling that I've been doing, but I'm also preparing for July 26th, which is my 5th annual Overcoming Narcissist Abuse Conference. It is from the Reconstruction Project. And now after the reconciliation, I can't even remember the whole thing. I'll put the flyer at the very end. But it is the Reconstruction Project. And what I'm going to be talking about for many of you guys, there comes a time where, yes, you are going through the grief and loss process, dealing with the atrocities of being with a pathological individual. And those of you that were able to watch while I was in New York and I was talking about the new field of study called Pathological Love Relationships by Sandra Brown, who has done over 30 years of research, and she's bringing out the new verbiage, and a lot of the verbiage we were using, but to give a better understanding and for those that are in the psychological field, giving not different types, but definitions to behaviors and the effects that people with this pathology, this behavior, this thought process, the things that they do and how they handle people, and how not only are they a problem to themselves, but how they affect other people and how they've affected you. And that many things like the major depression and anxiety. Now, keep in mind this for educational purposes. Please do not take this and just put it upon yourself. Make sure you talk to a professional, a mental health professional, psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist. But a lot of times people are being misdiagnosed with major depression and anxiety when in actuality they have trauma disorders that have been caused by other people's behaviors and psychological abuse or even physical abuse. And this is by those pathological love relationships and how it affects people. And many times, you guys have been, abused even in childhood. And in childhood, a lot of you have complex PTSD. But a lot of this stems from the abuse. And sometimes the diagnoses are wrong. They are trauma disorders. But like I said, this is for educational purposes only. Please go to your mental health professional. I am a mental health professional, but I'm not your mental health professional, in order for them to provide an assessment. So the training is out there by Sandra Brown for many mental health professionals that are interested in pathological love relationships, the effects of pathological love relationships. But you do go through a process of grief and loss. And a lot of you, there are 5 or 7. The ones that we really talk about a lot are the 5 different grief and loss, or the 5 stages of grief. Everybody does not go through all 5 stages. All people do not go through the stages in chronological order. Sometimes you may process through one and then come right back to it. So sometimes you go back and forth. It is a process, meaning it takes time. It is a process. But there is when you are working on, you can't say all things go away with time. No, you sweep it under the carpet, it just gets bigger and bigger. So you really need to reach out to a professional, a therapist that may specialize in this. All therapists do not want to work with trauma. So I can tell you that now. All therapists do not want to work with trauma. And so a lot of you, I don't understand why therapists don't understand, because all therapists don't want to work with trauma. So it is our choices. But I do work with trauma, and I am in the training with Sandra Brown in reference to the pathological love relationships, the new assessments that we can use, even information. She has advocates that are on her team with the Institute of Pathological Relationships, or and I have to look for it. I have to look for a second, because I just jumped on the camera without going to look at all the information that I was going to give you. But I'll talk about it during my conference as well. But she does have an institute that deals with harmful relationships, and stopping the recidivism. And she does have advocates and people on her team that are also they're advocating to educate those in the court systems, lawyers and judges, to educate people in the court system about this. So those of you that have been working really hard, I'm telling you, we are making a pathway. We are making headway where we are finally getting results. And that's why when I'm going to have my fifth annual Overcoming Narcissist Abuse conference on July 26th. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're going to take like 45 minutes to an hour lunch. So this is Pacific Standard Time. Please join me. You don't want to miss it. If you want to make payment, it's a nominal fee, so it's not even that expensive. I'm going to have 5 professionals on there, to include myself. 5 professionals on there. I'm the 5th, I think. But 5 professionals on there. This is very informative, very revelatory information that you're going to get when it comes to, what do I do now? You're giving me all this information. I understand what I've went through. What happens now that, I'm away from this person. I've gone no contact. I feel like I'm feeling better. What now? Because everything has been broken. My body is broken. Or some of you guys, my body's broken. My mind is broken. My family is broken. Where do I go from now? How do I rebuild myself? What am I supposed to do? What are the steps to take now? I've heard all this. I can listen to these videos over and over again. You have now become a survival professional, But what do I do now? How do I rebuild my life? Well, one thing I can tell you is that your life will never, ever be the same. You'll never be the same person that you were before. And for some of you, that's a good thing because you have now learned some things. And believe you me, I hate when people say, well, God brought him into my life in order to teach me a lesson. That's not true. That is a horrible statement. And just like my mother always says, God wouldn't put someone in your life to, why would you give your child cancer in order to teach them a lesson? God doesn't do that. That comes from choices. We make choices and we chose, they tricked us. Or like the lady on TikTok said, they trickalized you. They tricked us, with that charm and that, superficial charm and, these endless breadcrumbing and dreams, the horrors, that they have presented to you and cherry caked it and put whipped cream on it. And so we fell for it and we fell for it and we don't even know why. Some of you know why. I've come out of a very traumatic household, and so I'm drawn to what I know. That's all I know, and so that's what I'm drawn to. And so you magnetize these people to you, But those of you, I'm telling you, even with those of you wondering, well, I don't understand, I'm gonna stick with them. I love them. I love her, and they're gonna change, and I'm believing because I've seen it. Yeah, that's a pipe dream. That is a illusion. That is a mirage in the desert. And the one thing with this new field of study lets you know they're not going to change. They can't change. They won't change. Can't stop, won't stop. I know it's a bad time to say that joke in this time and era, but they won't stop. They can't stop, and they won't stop. But in my conference, I am talking about the reconstruction project. And we're coming from different people. We have a millennial. Her name is Demetria Fields, a friend of mine, my sister, my little big sister, because she act like she's my age. She has to remind me from time to time. Me and her are not the same age. She's not a Gen X. She's a millennial. But she's really good when it comes to kids, and dealing with children and behaviors. I have a friend of mine, my sister, Bridget Griffin, who is also a domestic violence advocate. She does a lot of stuff in the court systems in order to advocate for victims in the court system. And this program, this new field of study will be perfect for domestic violence advocates. And I'm going to give a separate class. I did it in New York. I'm going to do it again. So you listen up before my conference. I'm probably going to do it again so that you guys can sign up for it. For those of you that are providing care, you can get more information, coaches, therapists, but there is that fine line between coach and therapist. So remember that. Also, my mother, Apostle Helen Sadler, she's going to be there, and she can talk about anything she want to talk about. My big sister, Kathy Gibson, she's going to be there, and you guys don't want to miss it. Bring your tissues because you're going to cry, but you're going to have an opportunity to ask professionals on the platform questions if you want to ask questions. But please go and register for my 5th annual Overcoming Narcissist Abuse conference, July 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to see you guys there. The flyer will be at the end of this video. I want to see you there, and this is what we're going to be talking about up until the time of the conference. Those of you that want to make payments, please email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. I will send you an invoice, and those of you can just pay it. It's a nominal fee. It doesn't cost very much. So make sure you clock in, check in, and I'll be back with some more videos. You guys have a great day. Bye.